You're tuned in to Talon, 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 Talon it like it is. Today, I want to talk about something that's become a centerpiece of our society. I want to talk about something that I have very mixed feelings about because I feel like it helps me in some ways and it hurts me in other ways. So with this, I want to talk about the World Wide Web. Now, most of you I know listen to this show on cassette tape. You subscribe to our Tape of the Week program, and you've been such loyal, great subscribers all these years, and I thank you so much for that. But actually, some people do listen to this on the web, and I was a little resistant about adding it to the web because I thought that the cyber spiders would suck the ideas out of all the files and then take it away from me, and I was very scared of this kind of things happening, but I was assured that it would not. I have the best security. I have the McNorton's Deluxe Package Extreme, and it's going to keep me very safe. But I want to talk about the World Wide Web a little bit. The World Wide Web is an invention of Albert Arnold Gore Jr. A lot of you might know him as Al Gore. He lost the presidential election in 2000. You might remember him. Some people are trying to run around saying that he actually won it. I remember people had these very mean, not true bumper stickers that said, "Re-elect Gore in 2004. And I would always rear end their cars because they deserve it. And my insurance is good enough that it's worth it to watch them just really be scared for their lives. But in bumper stickers, that's the interesting thing is that, it seems like they're going away because now people have the World Wide Web, and they have these things that they can put on there to say how they feel in a very quick way with a little picture. And it's kind of, now who needs a bumper sticker anymore? And I think that's tough luck because I've always, kind of been a bumper sticker guy. I think they're really funny. There's so many cool, funny things, and it's a great way for people to know what I'm thinking when they see my car. But I also know that some people think it's tacky to have bumper stickers on your car. So I've solved this problem. What I do is I have another car, a Tercel that is just covered in stickers, front, bottom, top, everything, most of the windows. And one of the stickers is a big sticker on the back with an arrow that says, "These bumper stickers represent the feelings of that car." And I have them drive next to me. So that anybody who's driving behind, they're seeing all these funny things and they're like, wow, this guy is a real card. And then they see that one and they say, oh, it's that guy driving that pristine vehicle. So he's both classy, but kind of in this fun way. And, and of course that guy gets pulled over a lot. But I cover all the expenses of finding a new driver after that happens. So it's great, but now you have the internet, what they call a meme, which is these little things where they take maybe a picture of Mr. Krabs or a picture of a baby or some kind of odd-looking child, and then they put words over it, and that's how they're doing it now, I guess, on the web, and there's just something about being able to slap on that bumper sticker that you'll never be able to do with a meme, I guess, unless you printed it out or have it paid to be made into a sticker.
But Talon, you don't see the connection between those things and maybe appreciate this new thing that we're moving into?
Well, it's one of those things where we're digitizing and electrifying everything in our society. And some people say that is better for all these different reasons. But, your electric car is never going to roar. It's never going to purr like a kitten, because when real cars that run off of burned up dinosaurs, they go roar, but it's very powerful and very an extension of you and your manliness. Whereas you have an electric car, kind of sounds like a little, and it makes you seem nebbish and kind of impotent. So for that reason, and I feel the same way about computizing all of our documents and things, is I think that it kind of cheapens them when you turn it just into lights on a screen and that kind of thing.
So can you get back to maybe talking about your relationship with the internet and your recent interactions, maybe?
Well, the internet, I guess in a certain sense, I use it by this show going out on it, much in the way that people use bridges or things. But then I don't like to surf the web. If I'm going to be surfing, I'm going to be hanging 10, all right? I'm going to be catching a sweet wave. If I'm going to be surfing, all right, I'm not going to be sitting in my mom's basement because my mom lives in Florida and they don't have basements there. I'd be sitting in her den. So, but that's kind of beside the point. But I've been using the Twitter application lately, but I didn't want to have any of the mess of signing on to the web because it makes that nasty kind of grating sound that I guess the kids are thinking that it's called dubstep, but it just sounds like rotten noise to me, and it's and just to get onto the web, that's not going to work for me. So what I did was I had a special ordered from this fella, and he's loaded me up a gateway with a Twitter. And so it just goes right, I turn it on and it's just on the Twitters, and then I can type into whatever I have to say to America. So I sent I think 2 or 3 of those, and they're lighting on fire, getting a like here, a like there. So in that way, it's been kind of fun. But I feel like that's because I'm using it for one thing. But the risk is that there's so much in there, This kind of place with all these things. What does that remind me of? Kind of like a city, like a big time city. And we know that cities decay morals. So that in the way this internet is kind of this cyber city where people go to have their morals decay.
So I don't mean to jump back too far, but when did you surf?
Oh, when did I do actual surfing and not that nerd surfing?
Right.
Yes, well, I was hitting up on the beach in Awaki Ahu Kaladi Aba, which everyone there said that's not what it's called, but I thought that is what it was called. So I'm gonna I told them we'd have to agree to disagree. But anyway, I would go and I was doing a surfing competition, and it was I had this summer where I was kind of just living life to the fullest and doing surfing tricks and walking up and down and riding tubes and I would have wear the little sunscreens and it was great. It was a great summer. I wanted to write a screenplay about it, but I found out that if you write a screenplay, they might make it into a movie, and I don't want to be responsible for that, so I abandoned that effort. But it's surfing. It's fit. It's tan. And when you have these people going and surfing on the web, what are they doing? So you're going and you're surfing on the web. So you go in and you type in recipe for apple pie, and then you're going to probably the top search is probably going to be an advertisement or something, which I think is cool. I think that's good. I think you need ads in your life so that you know what to buy. It's as simple as that. So I think that's cool. But if you scroll down, probably the second thing underneath that is going to say something like a recipe for bomb making so that you can kill the dirty Americans and their apple pie eating faces. #ISIS. The number 4, not the word, mind you, life with a Y. And you're watching society and language kind of just crumble in front of you on the World Wide Web. And it can be really shocking and off-putting, I think.
So, Talon, you're such a well-traveled man. You've been all around the world and you love learning about new things. And some say that the internet can bring you to all these different places without even having to travel there. A lot of our viewers would like to know why you don't use the internet yourself.
Well, a big part of the reason I don't find myself getting a good usefulness out of the internet. I don't think it's a very useful tool, and to me, it's because, well, first of all, there's not a lot of things that I'm really not knowing about. So there's a lot of people who are just going on and kind of talking about either lies or things that I already know. And that's really all I ever see is either something that I already do know and believe or something that is not true. So it's like, what's the point of going there for that? And, and also, with the looking up the reviews and that kind of thing where you're trying to find out stuff about, items that you might want to buy. Here's my problem. I don't use the internet. So people who are using it are nothing like me. So why would I believe a review from some nerd who's sitting around click-clacking his life away? I mean, do I really want to find out, oh, yeah, I thought this blender was really nice, and then I find out that they only thought it was nice because it's really good for blending up Taco Bell smoothies or whatever they're eating in there with their stained shirts and all that kind of thing. And also, some people, there's dangers on the internet. I mean, the internet is where pirates live now. They all have gone into there. And so there's this really scary things happening where people can have your identity taken away, which, can you imagine that? If you woke up and you were a completely different person, you looked in the mirror and your face was blank and you couldn't even, I mean, that is scary stuff. And you need to wonder when you're going online, is that the road you're walking down? And then of course, now the internet is not a very good place to be private. Because, everybody's looking and peeping into your things. And that's why the government is probably doing this the most. And I think that for them to be doing that is not a very good thing, because they should be more respectful of my privacy, and if they want to find out what I have to say, they can tune into my radio station or my show and listen to me. But, and that's the thing, is I'm giving it to them already, but I guess the terrorists don't have radio shows. So I understand why they might think that that's something that they'd want to do, but they shouldn't be doing it to me. But the thing is that as much as they're not too great for doing it, I wish I didn't know. I just wish I didn't know, because, I found out from a real jerk hypocrite named Edward Snowden. Now, you might remember him in the news. He's looking like a real dorky kind of guy who's wearing a pencil protector. You know what I mean? A kind of guy, just a real dork. And so he's a Russian spy who comes into America, and he's coming in and saying, in that name, Edward Snowden, really, do we believe that's a real name, or is that something that a Russian would think was a name? Because all they have up there is snow and men, and that's all they could come up with. So anyway, he's this Russian spy. He sneaks in here, and then he is exposing what the government is doing. They're private secrets of what they do. And he's saying, oh, hey, look, everybody, they have everybody's private secrets. But then he's going around giving the private secrets out to everyone else. And he's saying, oh, so two wrongs makes a right. I guess I must be a hero. I guess I'm really brave because I'm willing to do a thing that I tell everybody else is really bad to do. And people are saying, oh, it's so much like it's 1984. And I'm saying, like Reagan is president, sign me up. Sign me up. But, not if the sign up's online, because I'm still not using it. And if some of you would tweet at me more, I would tweet back to you and do all of those things. But I understand that all those filters and webs are in the way and your messages are getting trapped up in it. And of course, that's why they call it the web, is because it's so sticky and everything's getting caught in there and it all is getting sucked up. I'm interested though because there's things happening on the internet that have to do with lots and lots of money, and as some of my listeners may know, I like money more than a little bit. It's it's kind of how you judge a person's worth and value. And so I think, I'm a very valuable person, and I can back that up with a check. So I'm interested about these things I'm hearing about online called fantasy sports. And fantasy sports no, America, it's not a team where all the players are dragons and Jessica Simpsons. All right. Get your mind out of the castle and the gutter, respectively. But it's fantasy sports. It's the new stock market, they're saying to me. So I want to find out more about it because I think the stock market is a really good thing. You look at all the great stuff that comes out of Wall Street, and I don't quite know what they're doing over there, but they're making so much money. And so now that I've become such a big sports fan, I think if you could combine those two cool things of Wall Street and sports, that I would think that it was really great. So I want to find out more about this, and I'm here in the studio with my friend. You might remember him from past episode, Nathaniel Wolf.
Hey man, what's up? It's nice to be back.
Oh, and it's great to have you because I think you're just the resident expert that I need to crack the code on this.
I would like to state I'm not an expert on fantasy sports. I'm a hobbyist. I'm excel at them, but I'm certainly no expert.
Okay, well, if you excel, that means you're excellent. And I think that means you're an excellent guest to have today. And I think that's exactly what that word means. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you some questions. How do I make all the money?
Now, are you dealing with just regular fantasy sports, like with your friends online, or are you dealing with daily fantasy sports? Because there's a difference.
Well, okay, so what's the frequency of the other ones? Weekly, yearly?
Well, daily. That's with the D and then DFS, daily fantasy sports. So that one occurs every single 24-hour cycle.
And is there a way to maybe, if you have religious exemptions so you don't have to play on some of the days that you aren't up to it?
No, gambling will happen regardless if you are celebrating the Sabbath or anything, any other religious exemptions from work. Nope, it's constantly going on. And that's okay. You could take a day off. That's fine. You can still make the money tomorrow. You got to worry about the matchups, Talon. It's all about the matchups.
Okay, so that's interesting. So the matchups. Now, that's because of the little outfits that all the players wear for the game.
No.
So I would like to see, because I like to bet on the purple ones. And that's the one of them is a bird, but the other one has a little sperm on their helmet in there. I don't know.
I have no idea what sport that is.
There's a little purple. They have a purple hat with a little wiggly white thing on the side.
You're thinking like
Are they from your town?
No. Is that like the Grand Wizard? Like, doesn't he wear a purple robe? Or like, what? Like, I don't know.
No. It's
swoosh on the
a
side.
football team, and they wear the purple helmets.
Oh, the Vikings. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's
that's Vikings. They are large.
Yeah.
So why don't they have a cooler name than the Sperms, or a better mascot?
Well, I mean, they're the Vikings, so they have a big Viking as their mascot. He's just a big old guy. So are you saying that Sperm is cooler than Vikings?
No, not at all. Of course not. Vikings are mighty in combat, and they, not very bright, but they were
No, certainly
mighty.
not. Certainly not.
But no, I guess I had always just seen their hats on the game, and I didn't know. So is that supposed to be a horn, like on a Vikings?
It is, yeah, it's like a horn. It's not like some inverted Nike swoosh.
If I was doing the costume design for the Vikings team, I would have done it with real horns on it, because some people might see that and not realize that it's supposed to represent a three-dimensional image in the way,
I like the idea idea of weaponizing football players' helmets more than they already are. It is a radical idea, Talon.
And it is radical in every sense of the word, both in the kind of cool surfing way and also the kind of sense that it would be revolutionary and it would make the world a much better place. But fantasy sports, I still haven't found out how I'm making the money yet.
Okay.
That's what I want to find out.
Yeah, so, I mean, usually if you just play a regular old fantasy league, it'll just be you and some buddies. You get together and you put in $20 a year per team. So if you have one team, you just put in $20. It's just like a small pool amongst friends.
I get it.
And then whoever wins...
$20, that's this exact amount of zeros that would be involved because this would just be a small amount of money.
Yeah.
Not even worth tracing or taxing, but continue.
Well, in this case, I agree. But if you're not winning, they are. So...
So they're out to get what's mine.
It's not yours until it's been claimed, but...
I'm claiming it right now, so henceforth they're out to get what's mine. So we're going to set me up an account, I guess. So,
yeah.
But I want to get a little more into the details.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything about money. Well, I heard the $20, but how do I get more than that?
All right, well, that was just amongst your friends over, like, a league that you would create. It's more just there to hang out with your buddies and smack talk, if you will, over the internet or...
Yes, I already have more money than all my friends, though. I don't need their money.
Well, and then pilfer their pockets even further. I'm sure you'd get a little bit of schadenfreude.
Ever pilfer. All of any charge that I render during any of my friendships is for... it's for something that was received or something cool that I did or, it's not, or interest, but and I would never just pilfer.
Yeah, you earn that money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactamundo. But and then about, so speaking of earning money, who do I bet on? I refuse to bet on Thomas Brady, and we all know why.
Yeah, 9/11.
I'll bet on almost anyone else.
Dude, that was I gotta say, that was the hottest take on any current event anyone has delivered to me in a while.
That take was hot enough to melt.
Searing. Oh, no. Not that hot.
I think it probably was.
Okay. Jet fuel.
In my assessment.
Hotter than jet fuel. Is that what you're saying?
Than jet fuel.
Okay.
Yes, I think according to our Talon thermometer that we have up here, you obviously can't see it at home, but it kind of ranks different levels of how hot my takes are. And that one, I remember it being up near the top.
I believe it was at 772 T.
Well, I mean, the numbers don't lie. Those particular numbers don't lie, though. There are some sneaky numbers you have to look out for. And, a lot of people don't know this, but numbers are Arabic. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being Arabic, but I'm just saying that a lot of people don't know that. It's something you might want to consider. Not that we judge things that are Arabic in any different way, but but we don't. But if someone did, they might want to know that. So
I'm just going to pretend that none of that happened, gloss over it, and just go back to talking about sports.
I think that's what's so great about you.
Yeah, well, that's what we're here for. That's why I think I'm here. I don't know. I like hanging out, though.
And we're almost up in this little treehouse of fun when I'm hanging out with you. You're a real fun hanging out guy, and we get to have a few drinks and get loose.
Oh, yeah.
So, money.
Right. So it goes back to what I was saying before. It's all about the matchups, Talon. Like, you might not... So in daily fantasy sports, depending on how well a player performs in the game or the field or whatever sport they play, they are allotted a sum. And you work as a general manager of a team, assembling a team based off salary, and whatever player, and you're allotted, say, like $100, and each player will cost a certain value depending how well they perform historically.
I'm being like a general manager.
Exactly.
So what I'm not understanding is why, if somebody wants to be doing this game, why they wouldn't just become a general manager instead of going on to the web.
Well, you got to think about
a
it.
fake version of it.
So there's only 30 teams in most sports. In some sports, there's 32, 28. But that's only 28 or 30 general manager jobs in that entire office. So you could argue there's only 120 general managers in the entire country.
Well, you said hockey teams are cheap. They're going for cheap.
They still cost millions of dollars to own.
Well,
and
yes, and I think,
they still employ only one general manager per team, so there's still only 30 different people that are currently employed. It's just there's not that many jobs.
Fantasy sports is kind of for people who aren't capable of ousting someone.
I'm not even saying that. Some of them might be. They just may have not gone into that career path, or
kind of cowardly almost. That they want to just run to the web. But anyway, I'm not judging it. I'm not saying anything bad about it. So now I'm going on to the web, and I'm matching up. Who's matching with who?
All right. So you usually want to take a player who you think is going to outperform their salary. Like, say there's benefits to certain scenarios. Like, for example, in baseball, Coors Field is well notorious for being a hitter's park because of the high altitude in Denver. The ball sails further than it would everywhere else.
Because it's being sucked into space, right?
Yeah. There's a vortex above Mile High Stadium that just pulls the balls out.
We all know Denver is where it all goes down, and we all know what we all know, and that's where we met. So
that is where we met.
It's those kind of freakish energies follow you. If you go there once to Denver, you will be it kind of latches onto you like a little demon and hangs on your belly. That's just creepiness of that city, I find.
Wait, so is Denver like a belly button piercing in your mind? It just dangles off the belly.
Yes, in a sense, but kind of not. It's not as cool. It wasn't as cool in 2006 to have a demon attached to you, but really, belly rings did have their moment in the sun.
I mean, belly button rings are like demons. I guess I just missed the beginning of that part, but in the eyes of parents like yourself, demons.
Exactly. Now, I was going to do an episode on body piercing one time, and what I found is that it's just so icky. And when I did the test market, because, we always run all the episodes by a few levels of different consumers, and we release them all anyway, but I like to get validation at different levels along the week before we get it out there. So I'll show it to 5 people, and they can tell me how good it is, 10 people. But anyway, that episode, people couldn't make it even a gosh darn minute through, because it was so gosh darn icky to think about body piercing. It's, because you're saying, okay, God gave you a certain amount of holes for a reason, all right? It's not something you want to go messing with.
I feel like a lot of people want to mess with their bodies, and the holes that are in them are the ones they want to create. And I don't feel like people should be judged for that, but, we don't like to.
I think there's only ever been one person who had holes put in their body, and it wasn't icky. And I think we know who that is.
Jesus Christ. I actually don't know. Okay.
Bingo,
okay.
Buddy.
Yeah.
That's right. You were sharp.
I can connect the dots.
Sharp as the cheese from the region of the northern part of the country where you came.
Come on, man. That's Wisconsin. I'm from Minnesota.
Yes. Exactly.
So, Talon, speaking of body modification, I think you had some questions about how juicing relates to your odds in this online gambling thing.
Yes. Can I juice the stats?
Can you juice the stats? You try to squeeze those stats of their essential oils? I don't know. Like, what? So, like, what do you mean by juicing the stats? So you mean, like, looking deeper within them to find sustenance? Like, to find their value? I don't know, fucking man. I don't know what the hell you mean. Like, you can't, there's no steroids that you can seemingly know that a player is on to try to cheat the system in any way.
No, I mean, can I somehow take the numbers and know them better than all the suckers out there.
Yeah, you can use database pools and then use what are pretty much now widely accessible algorithms to process projections, which are just, forecasts of what players' expected performances would be the next day. So that way it gives you a more scientific way of going about assembling your lineup.
So here's this science rearing its ugly head again. Science is coming along to say, in this sports, last time you were here I found out that sports is really math. And it's really physics, and it's really all this kind of, now I have to do science even to make money from sports. And I'm wondering, why are these guys hanging out with each other? Because they don't seem like they should be friends.
Well, they don't really hang out with each other, per se. I mean, I'm sure some do, but not wildly. Also, I'd like to say, you can't. I mean, daily fantasy sports is kind of a racket, Talon. Like, I don't think most folks that perform and play don't make
daily
money.
Fantasy tennis. I'm talking about daily. Is there other sports?
Yeah, you
that
can.
Don't use a racket.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to say it's a con, man. It's a scam.
Oh.
You're getting bamboozled if you play daily fantasy sports.
But then why are all these people making all the money? I've never heard of any other system where you have a bunch of people getting ripped off and a few people making a lot of money. It means that if some people are making a lot of money, that means you can do it too if you're just good enough. So just applying that rule that applies to every other kind of system, it seems clear to me that if I was to know in the sports and you could just help me know to make the money, that I could make the money because I'm excellent in the things that I do.
All right, let me try to relate this differently. Have you heard the term predatory gambling?
Yes.
Yes,
When you bet on whether an eagle is going to catch a rabbit or not.
Okay, no. But in this scenario, say, so you know how predators work, obviously. They swoop on the weaker.
They're the ones with the initiative to go out and get what they need and they want.
Okay, well, in casinos, predatory gamblers are folks that are regular gamblers. They're maybe sometimes professional or close to professional players that go in and feast on the weekend warriors or the Joe Schmoes that are there to try to have fun. And they'll sign up for poker tournaments just to see how well they could do or just for fun. And what the predatory people will do is they'll bait them by playing somewhat different than they usually would, only so that they could swoop out at the end and take all their money, like the eagle.
Okay, so they're being tricking, but they're also doing it in a way that's getting money.
Yeah, in that case. But in daily fantasy sports, the odds are stacked even further against you.
Okay, so what have these people you think are stacking it against me got that I don't have as a proud American with a heart full of pride?
Well, a lot of them are full-time gamblers, and that's all they do is sit online and do daily fantasy sports every single day. And they'll submit lineups in every single tournament form they possibly can. And how they get away with this is that the companies that put on daily fantasy sports, FanDuel, DraftKings, they require
good businesses, right? From what I hear, they have so many advertisements. They must be doing well.
Yeah, they pulled those.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Geico's the best insurance because they have the most commercials. It's a good kind of way to tell how good a company is and how they're doing. Because if a company is trying to hide something, they don't ever have commercials. That's why there's, you don't often see commercials for the government where they're saying, Congress, we're still here. It's because they're hiding everything. But businesses, if you see them out there making all these ads and putting their things everywhere, you're thinking, well, they must not they must not be sneaking around because they're right there. How could they be?
I mean, yeah, so they are the status they're the highest level. I mean, DraftKings and FanDuel are what everybody knows. They're the upper echelon of daily fantasy.
So let's say
certainly the name brand.
DraftKings.
Okay.
And I want to try to get that crown.
Okay. Well, first thing you should do is download databases filled with players' past performances. And those are wildly available on websites like RotoGrinders or RotoQL.
Can I get it through? Can I get it into my Twitter? Can I make it part of?
You don't want to do that. You don't want to, because you want to take your data pool and then run it through projection models that will give you like I said before, a forecast of what you expect the players to perform tomorrow, so that way it's like looking into the future, Talon. You want to know how these players are going to be performing, so that way you fill out a lineup that's going to have the highest level of results against other Joes Schmoes, and you want to pick their pockets.
You need to look into the future.
Crystal ball.
To do this.
Yeah.
Now, that's an interesting thing, because I find myself... I do tend to have a sense of what's going on. So I think that maybe if I could have an opportunity when I'm betting on these games to maybe go live with some of the quarterbacks for a week or two and get a sense of who they are, and then I'd keep in touch with them, do little phone calls in the evening, maybe just 5 minutes. Just to check it, maybe 35 minutes so we get off on something. But anyway, I get to know them, and then I would just know what would happen, and then I don't need to be using these databases.
Oh, excuse me. No, that's...
Bless you. God bless you, and God bless America.
I'm regret sneezing.
God bless you, Nathaniel Wolf.
This is the first time I've ever regretted sneezing. No, man. Living with quarterbacks is not going to help you in any way, shape, or form, because like I said before, it's all about matchups. So an example, so historically, I guess not last year, but you want to find a whoopee cushion team, say the Detroit Lions, sorry if you're a Lions fan, but say they have a bad defense.
Lions. That sounds... I don't like the sound of that. Why is all the teams named after cats? What's making people think that cats are going to be good at football?
It's because people aren't creative, Talon. They can't come up with a name that's more specific to the region or just in general.
Yes, just lazy.
It's laziness.
And that's, yes. Ugh. Why don't they let the people who play the sports name the team?
Yeah.
Because they're not lazy, because they're doing sports, and that takes work, hard work.
Yeah, then you'd have the Dab Crushers of Tempe.
The Dab Crushers.
That would be, I don't know.
Are you talking about the Cameron Newton?
Oh, Cam Newton.
Is he the dabber?
Oh, yeah,
Is he the one who's doing the dab?
That's his signature.
And I thought that he was doing the drugs from the internet. I thought he was doing that clear plastic wax that the kids are doing now that just shoots them right off into space. It's really a sad stuff.
He would be suspended if he did that. He would be allowed.
No, I saw. He's doing a dance called the dab.
Right.
Yes. Now, I like his quarterbacking style, and I'll tell you why. Is because a lot of the quarterbacks are looking around and they're throwing the ball to someone, but he just kind of will just run up with it. And I think that's what an American quarterback should do, is get it done by himself.
Dude, I'm impressed with... You've been watching some sports.
I've been getting super into it.
Yo, that's actually pretty accurate. Yeah, Cam Newton, he's versatile multiple ways. He's got a good arm, but he's able to read the defense and respond on the fly.
I'm following
he scrambles a lot
on Twitter.
Oh.
And they're telling me all sorts of cool stuff. And so I've really been learning through that portal. It's kind of, because people say radio is dead. And I say, well, maybe your radio's dead. Buy another one, you dumb idiot. Radios work, and they always will. So I think people look at people who do what I do, and they mock us. But what they don't understand is that they're dumb and wrong and ugly, and that their moms only ever pretended to love them.
I got nothing.
That's what I think about people who say that about me. But That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about. So I think, okay, I'm starting to feel like I can make a lot of money, but we need to seal the deal.
Yeah. So the way to make a lot of money, I'm just going to use the model of like the number one player in the world, which is he creates his own projection system and he implements that into the data pools, like I was saying, and he does that every day. And then what makes him the best player is, like you were comparing it to the stock market, you know, a lot of people say don't respond to results. Look at the process that got you the results and then modify your approach. Yeah. And that there's a lot of similarities to that in daily fantasy. You don't want to just focus on the results you got from that day. You can even lose money. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
Losing money, not a bad thing?
Well, when you're putting in this many lineups.
This really is a fantasy football, because I think I've never heard of losing money as being not I mean, unless, of course, you drop money and it flitters away, and then a beautiful woman finds it and she tries to track you down, and then you fall in love and walk through the park together. But if that's not what it is, then I don't think you should be wanting to lose money.
Right. Well, think about it this way. If you submit 100 lineups, if 51 of them win a certain amount and the 49 of them lose, but each one of them costs about the same on entry, you still win money. You just not a lot.
As long as nobody filibusters, of course. Because then you would need 60 to win.
Okay, so if 60 of your lineups out of that 100 when you won a decent amount of money, like that, those are good numbers, and then do that every day, you're going to accrue a lot of money playing daily fantasy sports if your projections are accurate. And so that's what the best player in the world does. I'm not joking.
What's his name?
I can't remember.
Oh, what a shame, because I like knowing who the best at things are, and I keep my eyes.
And they go by usernames, Talon. Wouldn't even be able to trace his legal name.
There's a lot of drugs going on.
No, it's not like the Silk Road. No drugs.
So why do they call it a username?
It's because it's like it's a moniker for a person's online personality.
Oh, okay, I get it, okay.
But he will post about 1,400 lineups a day.
Wow.
Yeah, with an average success of about like 58 to 62 percentile. And those are like his numbers, which and he'll, but in those brackets, depending on where you place in some of these tournaments, you can win just your money back, or you can win $20,000 on a $15 investment.
Other people's money, but it's my money by the time I win it, so that's pretty nice. Now, how do I know when these people are having a username that it's a real person, and that the company isn't just showing me a pretend person who's winning all the money when everyone else is a chump?
Okay, well, here's the thing. You can't actually in daily fantasy sports.
Do people have prof picks?
No. Well, sometimes, but they're way too nerdy for their own good. So the company is so reliant on these big spenders, these people that put a lot of money into these pools, these people that put 800 lineups in a day. They need that money to prop up the amount of pools, the amount of winnings that they put out. So without their money, they can't guarantee these $600,000 pots. They need those money to just be able to offer that grand prize. So what ends up happening is they allow these big spenders to create multiple accounts that aren't even necessarily run by them, but run by computer programs that respond to their other accounts. And they do this simultaneously using different apps that coordinate with one another, or they will design their own programs that specifically will streamline these things based off news and information that just comes through the internet based off highlights of players' names. It's really amazing and also terrible.
I'm thinking what we do is right now I'm going to open up a nice bottle of scotch.
Yeah, right
on. You and me are going to sit down and we're going to figure out how to set up a fantasy on Twitter. And then we're going to set up a fantasy league on Twitter, and we're going to start winning all the money. And we're going to figure out how to do it okay, so I heard everything that you just said, and I distilled it all. And I've learned it so well I could teach a class on it. And I've decided that we're going to bet on the guys who dress in purple. Every sport.
Okay.
Every sport. So we will be reporting in with the news back on that. You guys will probably see us wearing some fancy fur coats. No, that's just kidding. I wouldn't do that because that's too snuggly. I couldn't get anything done.
I would like to know what that feels like. I've never worn a fancy fur coat.
Oh, you never worn one? It's like, imagine if you were just had a snuggling with all these little dead kittens, and you were just, it'd be, that's exactly what it is. So I think we're gonna set up this account, and we're gonna make a lot of money, and I'm gonna have you back in here to talk to the audience about what we're gonna buy with all of my money.
That's great. I can't wait to hear about what you spend your money on. That just sounds like an awesome conversation.
All right, and of course I'm gonna give you a chance to give the last word to the folks out there.
Don't play fantasy sports. Oh no, do play fantasy sports. Don't play fantasy sports. It's a scam. Yeah,
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at TalonItLikeItIs. For new content and updates, visit boiledsprat.com/TalonItLikeItIs. See you next week.